Wham Baam Teslacam's Worst Drivers of Washington, Volume 1. This Tesla owner was driving his Model 3 in Seattle, Washington. He was on a highway on-ramp when, all of a sudden, a Jaguar bumped into him. At first, it was just a light bump, but then the Jaguar rammed into him, hit the curb, and sped off. Our submitter filed an insurance claim and made a police report. He says that the really strange thing was that neither one tracked down the Jaguar driver, even though he provided them with their license plate number, VIN, name, and address. Even so, his own insurance provider totaled his car and cut him a check for $60,000 US. If we rewind a bit, we can see the Jaguar coming off the exit ramp on the other side, then turning around to get back onto the highway before crashing into the Tesla. Martin had parked his brand new Model Y on the street in Seattle, Washington when he got a Sentry mode alert that his alarm had been triggered. A distracted Lexus driver sideswiped several parked cars before taking off. Martin rushed out to find car parts on the ground and his car all banged up. Martin reviewed the Sentry mode footage and was relieved to see that it had captured the license plate number of the offender. He called their insurance provider to file a claim, only to discover that the Lexus driver had already called them. The Lexus driver had actually lied to their insurance provider, giving a completely different explanation for what had happened. Martin sent them his Teslacam footage, resulting in the driver being charged with felony hit and run and felony insurance fraud. What did we learn? While you type your answer in the comments, we'll tell you that Martin's repair estimate came to $3,334 US. Don't forget to subscribe. Jared was driving home in his brand new Tesla Model 3 in Spokane, Washington. It was a Friday afternoon and he was in a good mood, but that was all about to change. Watch what happened as he turned onto an arterial road. Jared told us he noticed the car a split second before impact, but he didn't have enough time to react, and neither did the Tesla's safety features. The Acura driver who'd hit him had tried to cut through stopped traffic to cross the intersection. While doing so, those stopped cars blocked both his and Jared's views of each other. When the police arrived, they found the other driver 100% at fault since Jared had had the right of way. Jared filed a claim with the other driver's insurance provider, but the insurance policy had expired, so the other driver was technically uninsured. As a result, Jared had to file a claim with his own insurance provider. The repair bill came to $25,000 US. Marquita was driving her Model 3 in Redmond, Washington. She was in line to make a right turn on red with two cars ahead of her. The driver of a white sedan at the front of the line was a little hesitant, which made the driver of the Chevrolet visibly upset. He started waving his hands around while creeping closer and closer. When the driver of the sedan finally made the turn, the SUV driver followed close behind them. This made the driver of a delivery van furious. He accelerated, huffing and puffing black smoke to catch up to the SUV driver. When the van driver merged to the left lane to pass the SUV, they started to accelerate too. This began a little dance of sorts as the two vehicles moved back and forth across the lanes. For their finale, they crashed into each other before driving away. Marquita sent the video to the police, but she hasn't heard anything back. Who do you think was at fault here? Q was driving on a country road and a Jeep in front of him was third in line to make a right turn at a stop sign. The Tesla up at the front drove away. Then when it was their turn, the second driver in line stayed put. The Jeep driver was watching cross traffic to the left and failed to notice the car in front of him hadn't moved as he rolled forward and crashed into the back of it. Q pulled over to see if they needed his Teslacam video, but the Jeep driver admitted fault right away. Alex was heading home when he got rear-ended by a Toyota before finding out that they had also been rear-ended. The impact pushed Alex's Tesla into the SUV in front of him, making it a 4-car accident. The driver of the SUV in front of Alex got out of their car, looked around, and then just left. The officer who arrived later recorded his license plate number from the Sentry mode footage and told Alex they'd be looking for him. Alex was a bit shaken up, which we can tell because he was shaking the camera a bit. Check out the smiley face Alex had drawn a week before. He thinks it was pretty ironic that the smiley face was slapped by another car. Samuel was sitting at a red light in Phoenix, Arizona. Just as the light turned green, a pickup truck pulling a trailer ran the red light. The driver of an oncoming Mitsubishi didn't notice the pickup and crashed into the side of it. Thankfully, both drivers were okay. Samuel waited for the police to arrive. When they did, he told them he had footage of the accident. When one of the cops saw that Samuel had a Tesla, he volunteered to be the one to collect the footage. He jumped into the Tesla with Samuel and they talked for a while about all its neat features. The officer told Samuel that he was planning on getting a Model Y himself. After a few minutes, Samuel asked, "Did you want the footage of the crash?" The officer replied, "Oh yeah, that's what I was supposed to be doing. Sorry." Jay was visiting a friend in Spokane, Washington. He'd parked his Model S on the street in front of her apartment. Suddenly, Sentry mode was triggered when a man carrying 2 gas cans walked toward the parked Tesla. He stopped by the side of the Tesla and put the gas cans down on the sidewalk before scouting the area and making sure the coast was clear. It actually wasn't clear, as we can see other cars passing by, and the guy even turned away to make sure nobody saw his face. What he didn't know was that the Tesla had built-in cameras facing every angle and they were already rolling. Sentry mode kept recording as the guy began pouring gasoline all over the roof and windshield of the Tesla. Then he set it on fire. Even with the fire raging, the cameras kept rolling and the rear camera captured the arsonist running off. The cameras continued recording until they eventually melted off, but the footage was already saved and Jay is now asking for your help catching the guy responsible. The fire department was able to safely extinguish the blaze, but Jay didn't even know this had happened until the next morning when his friend headed out for work. She called and told him, hey, you might want to come outside and see this. It's your car." The driver's window had been smashed by the fire department when they were verifying that the car was unoccupied. Now, we're no detectives, but right after the guy ran off, a car drove by with headlights off and paused to gawk at the burning Tesla. Sure, it could be a curious passerby, but I think I remember from some TV show that coming back to admire their work is textbook arsonist behavior. What we do know is that this guy set this Tesla on fire. If you recognize him, please contact us and we'll forward the information to Jay and the police. Jeff was driving his brand new Model 3 with autopilot engaged when he entered an S-turn. An oncoming truck driver failed to maintain their lane and drove directly into oncoming traffic, striking the vehicle ahead of Jeff. Jeff told us the Tesla handled the situation fantastically. As soon as the oncoming truck was in his lane and headed for a head-on impact, FSD jerked the steering wheel to the right and steered the Tesla onto the shoulder, giving just enough room for the truck to pass without hitting him. Jeff stopped to check if the driver was okay, got their information, and sent them a copy of the video. The truck driver said a spider had jumped out of the glove box, scaring his wife and distracting him. The other driver said it wasn't the worst thing he'd experienced in his 80 years, but we suspect the spider story was definitely near the top of the list. Fuchs' wife asked him to grab some bread on his way home one Friday. As he entered the store, he noticed 2 customers unloading their cart. The guy returning the cart thought he could give it a hard push into the cart corral, but unfortunately, he had the worst aim ever, and the cart missed the corral and went straight into Fuchs' front bumper cover, left fender, and door. Thankfully, a random shopper who happened to be sitting in their car witnessed the whole thing and took a picture of the person's car, including the license plate. Fuchs filed a police report and is waiting to hear back. Darth Yogurt. Okay, that's a great nickname. Anyway, Darth Yogurt was driving his Tesla in Wenatchee, Washington. As he approached a bridge, traffic was slowing down for a van that was stopped in the right lane. But one guy wasn't paying attention and rear-ended a Honda CR-V. Darth Yogurt posted the footage on a community website hoping whoever might need it would find it there. According to Darth Yogurt, it turned out that the other driver was on his phone. Darth also wants to send a shout out to his wife Teddy. They watch our videos together as a couple. Aww. Jess had parked her Model Y outside her workplace in Spokane, Washington when someone vandalized her Tesla and she thinks this Honda was involved. A Honda can be seen circling the block a couple of times before it slows down at the top of the hill. A few seconds later, a man is seen walking toward the Tesla. Jess thinks this guy might have been a passenger in the Honda, but she can't be sure, and the license plates weren't visible in the video, so this may not be a very useful lead. The man crossed the street, picked up a rock, then headed back over to where Jess's Tesla was parked. First, he walked up to the car parked in front of her Tesla and smashed the driver's side windows before walking toward the Tesla. Just as he walked past it, another car approached, so he casually strolled along before checking if the coast was clear. At that point, the Honda came circling back. Just as it passed, the guy bent down and picked up another rock. He walked up to the passenger side of the Tesla and hurled the rock through the front window. Just as he threw the rock, the Honda stopped at the top of the hill. As the alarm activated, the guy got scared and ran home to mommy. Sorry, but this is just so pathetic. Jess filed an insurance claim, and the repair estimate came to $2,000 since the rock also damaged the window trim. It'll take weeks to repair it thanks to supply chain shortages. $2,000 for a pane of glass and a piece of trim. I bet you're really wondering how much Winston had to pay to rebuild his Tesla. Jess filed a police report and also gave a copy of the video to her workplace security so they could be on the lookout for the guy. Winston purchased this totaled Model 3 from a wrecking yard and rebuilt it himself in his garage. Once the car was completely rebuilt, he plugged in a USB drive and retrieved the footage stored locally on the Tesla's computer, finally revealing how the car had been totaled. The footage shows the former owner driving along when another car suddenly appeared from the right. With no opportunity to stop, the Tesla driver T-boned the other driver on the driver's side. The Tesla was a total loss and was sold to Winston by Geico Insurance. Winston won the auction for $15,000 before setting out to build the cheapest Tesla in the US. Steve-O was driving his Tesla Model Y southbound on I-5 in Seattle, Washington. Watch what the driver of the Subaru Legacy wagon in front of him did. The driver of the Subaru drifted into the center lane before realizing their mistake, overcorrecting and losing control, swerving back and forth before flipping over. This reminds me of the Moose test, a standard safety test that determines how well a vehicle can evade a suddenly appearing obstacle. And flipping over during the test is considered the worst possible grade. Thankfully, all the other cars were able to stop in time and no further collisions occurred. Steve-O told us it was scary to witness this happen from right behind the Subaru. We searched the news about the collision, but nothing was reported, which hopefully means everyone involved was okay. Art was driving his Model Y in Walla Walla, Washington when he encountered a huge gravel truck hauling large diameter gravel. As Art passed the truck, he was hit with a considerable amount of gravel rolling off of it. His windshield was hit by several big rocks, resulting in a 20-inch long crack. The Tesla also suffered other damage to the hood and fender. From the Teslacam video, he couldn't make out the license plate number on the truck, so he was afraid he was going to be stuck paying the repair costs. Then he went through the footage frame by frame and found one frame from the driver's side camera showing the truck's DOT number. He contacted the truck owner and his insurance provider paid for the damage. Over $1,200 for the windshield replacement and another $3,450 for the body damage. Teslacam to the rescue again.